Okay, what I mean is I have been training in creativity and creative problem solving since 2012. So I've learned many tools and techniques to help people to develop their creativity through creative problem solving. And I am also a creativity facilitator, so it means that I use creativity with groups, facilitating groups to help them become more creative and solve problems in an innovative way. And so I started as a group facilitator, but like going on, because I trained in coaching as well, I started to use the same tools and techniques also for individuals. So for one-to-one sessions with individuals. So that's why I call myself creative facilitator, because I take the tools from creative problem solving to help individuals to overcome their problems or to solve their personal and work issues creative. Okay, creativity. What do I call creativity is definitely not helping people to become artists or crazy or do something completely, hippie. That's not what I call creativity. Creativity is a way to think about your life, about your work, and about your problem in a different way. So trying to open up your mind and try to see people from different angles. Try to have a more positive approach with problems, because problems are not really problems. Problems are just things that things that happen in your life. Nothing is ever a problem. It's just something that happens to you, and you have to find a way to face it. The thing is, many people have a very, narrow, have a very narrow-minded way of approaching problems and challenges that happen. So what I do is I help them to let themselves go a little bit more, to free themselves from judgment, because the main obstacle to creativity is that we judge ourselves all the time, and that is why we try always to face problem in one way, but there are so many other ways that can open up to us. So the main rule, one of the main rules in creativity, is really letting go and defer judgment, suspend judgment. Nobody is judging you. This is a very big step for people, because we have always so many voices that are speaking in the background, saying what is right to do and what is not right, what you should be doing, what your parents want, what your boss wants, what your friends, what the world wants from you. So this very strong judgment sometimes is the main obstacle for us to free our creative mind. And the way I say free ourselves from judgment is it doesn't mean you're setting up for failure, just because sometimes judgment and what other people think about us and prejudices are something that are preventing ourselves to develop our real personality and our real passions and desires and dreams. So of course I saw that, I know that story, and I think I recently saw the movie. Yes, definitely. What is different here is that that was a very specific case, and she was extremely rich as well. Okay, so she created a protective sort of network around herself, but she was following her dreams. So what is unlucky about her is that unfortunately she created a sort of plastic, a reality made of plastic all around her. But the individuals I'm talking about are normal individuals, sometimes not with so much money as she had, in order to create a fake reality around themselves. And the fact that we are developing creativity doesn't mean that we are subverting, all the rules and all your family values or anything. It's just that I am trying when I coach people to help them to think in a different way, because if you think differently, then you'll be able to act differently. And if you act differently, then the world will respond differently to you. So very often people are unhappy because they are stuck with constant negative things that happen to them, and constantly negative approaches from other people or responses from other people. They don't realize that sometimes with our behavior, we create in people a behavior that is just a reflection of what we project. If we try step by step to change our little daily behaviors, then probably people will change completely towards us, and the world will respond differently. Sometimes I've experienced this in a very recent coaching session where I used this tool that is creative, that is called to diverge, right? Diverging thinking. And I asked a young professional to try and think what his problem was with his bosses, because he was feeling very unhappy and he felt like being bullied from his boss and the team. And he thought at the beginning of the session, he thought he was a little angel, and there was nothing in himself that was wrong. So he couldn't understand the different approach that his team was showing towards him. And then I asked him to compare, that response with the response that his friends or other teams or other groups were having towards him, and just comparing these two, where things worked and things didn't work. Then very slowly you realize that there was one little thing that he was doing with that team that made the whole relationship with the team and the whole approach towards that work completely different with successful, approaches. And he was sort of enlightened by this. Creativity and learning are very interconnected, I would say. Sometimes you learn because you have an insight. You realize something that you hadn't realized before. You discover something that is astonishing you, that is leaving you speechless. And the magic of creativity is that creativity can really lead individuals to have more insights. Because in creativity, when I was talking about divergent thinking, in creativity, you help people to come up with many ideas, not just one or two ideas to resolve a problem, but many. Go for quantity, go wild, write as many post-its as you can, make a full wall full of post-its and the wildest ideas that you can think of. And not all of them are the successful ideas. Not all of them will be applicable, will become solutions to your problem, but some of them will. And some of them are the learning that you are taking from a process like creative problem solving, because creative problem solving helps you to find insights. And sometimes really they leave you speechless, and that is the best learning you can have, because it comes from yourself. Nobody else gave you those ideas. You found them inside yourself somewhere that you didn't even know existed before.
That's right. And in education, it's called discovery learning, where
Definitely.
a teacher will set things up so that students can discover answers, solutions for themselves. And it's very time consuming. Discovery learning requires a lot more time than the teacher simply presenting the knowledge, as it were. And very often teachers don't have the resources, they don't have the time available because of the the extent of the curriculum that needs to be covered. So, but as a coach, you have the time. You're not restricted by the amount of time that people have. But at the end of the day, this kind of discovery learning, this kind of creativity, it can be a huge investment. So if people can learn for themselves, why do they need a coach? Why can they not learn to solve these problems and make connections and discover things in their own time?
This is exactly the point. The point is exactly what you're saying. Very often people, they think they can do it by themselves, on their own. But with a facilitator, and a coach is a facilitator also for an individual, with someone else that is taking care of you, that is helping you, that is listening to you and mirroring what you are saying and trying to ask you the right questions, then an individual is facilitated to be more creative and to find the right solutions. Because unfortunately, people alone are really struggling to find the right ideas and the right solutions, just because there's nobody else that is listening to them and is helping them to think differently. So it's very important. This dialogue is very important, whether it is a one-to-one dialogue or a group session. But the fact that the people are in the same room with other people that they trust, or even with just one coach that they can fully trust, is so important in this world where everybody is so concerned about, being and living in their little screens and on the social, and not meeting people, like the contact, the physical contact, the smile, the eye contact, the fact that the emotion that being with other individuals are creative, are the real final solution to resolve problems creatively.
Okay, so are we saying that creativity requires interaction? It requires feedback. So it's not just an inner thing which people can learn by themselves and be in their own energy. It requires some sort of external influence as well.
Well, to be honest, I think there are many definitions of creativity. Sometimes maybe a writer, a novelist may need their own, a creative time when they are in their bubble and they're just typing and letting their creative flow out. But in some other situations, the situations where that concern me mainly, so coaching and facilitating, yes, I would say that creativity is the relationship, is in the energy, is in the emotion that the human contact can really create. Because it's also a way to let go of one's own fear to be with others, to let go of some parts of yourself that maybe are stopping you from doing things differently. And being with other individuals that you can trust, you open up your creative mind, you open up your heart to other people, and that way you can really let creativity flow better.
And I suppose if we think about creativity as a process, there's different stages of the process where the external coach may be more important than others. For example, in the stage of incubation, which you refer to as the bubble, maybe the time when a person needs to be on their own and go inwards, whereas in the stage of preparation, where ideas are cultivated, I suppose, maybe an external person could help in the preparation or in evaluation of the ideas.
Okay, in creative problem solving, we have four main stages. The first stage is clarification. You need to clarify the problem before you can actually develop ideas or solutions to that problem. That you have the ideation phase, and then oh God, now I can't think straight. And then you have the developing phase, and then finally you have the putting things into practice. So what is very important also for a facilitator is that the facilitator or the coach can understand the individuals. If someone is more an introvert and some other people are more extroverts, is the facilitator that needs to help those introverts to have their time in order to be more in contact with themselves before they can start giving ideas and solutions. Other people that are more extroverts, they like playing with other people and being loud and writing tons and tons of post-its. So a good facilitator has also the ability to understand what an individual is what an individual is like, and to help them and give them the right tools in order not to privilege only the extroverts, and to also help the introverts to flourish, really. So yes, there is also this component of the bubble, the incubation, because people have also different inner times. So somebody is quicker, somebody is slower, and a good facilitators need to help everybody to express the best in them.